just for safety, I will have this some ways away. This is my first time with this mod, so, you know, cut me a little slack here. Hello everybody and welcome back to some more FTB Inferno. Today, we're making a nuclear reactor. Now, this isn't a nuclear reactor from the mods I'm used to. This is a brand new one, well, brand new, I say in quotations, that comes from a new mod that I have really not touched, which is industrial contraptions. In order for us to get this thing, it's gonna be a lot of processes. And it's all gonna stem from this quest line right here. So we're start here, and we need to get down to here. And there's a few things that'll get in our way. But we'll get there later on. So the first thing that we're gonna need to get is gonna be the machine block. For us to make this thing, we need this thing called a fuse, which is a combination of redstone flux coils and IV cable, which is just glass. And then this thing's gonna take some of these energy crystals, which we can actually just go ahead and make a bunch of those things right now. I am running a glow on glowstone, but that baby is fine. And I'm just gonna need to go ahead and grab glass. And then we also have this inderium wire. Alrighty, I got myself the glass, so now we go ahead and make ourselves this IV cable. And then we can go ahead and make ourselves the fuse. We get one fuse. Luckily, it's only used in the machine block, so, you know, that's fine. So the next thing we need is going to be these HSLA steel plate, which takes steel ingots and a steel dropping agent, which fortunately is not expensive to get at all. And we can, in fact, actually just go ahead and make a bunch of these right now. And then just go ahead and grab ourselves a bunch of steel. After that, we can just go ahead and throw these babies into the arc furnace. Oh, and while we're over here waiting for this, I just wanted to touch up on something that I did in the last video, which was when I was doing all my AE2 stuff to get auto-crafting started. So I looked into it. I did have to make more of the automated workbenches. So yeah, I did do that. In case any of you saw last video, I fixed the problem. I set up a bunch of automations. Apparently, flux points are in the mod pack, so I never needed to do any of the wiring business. But you know what? That's fine. It's neither here nor there. But now we got our plates, so now we can go ahead and combine all this together to make ourselves the machine block. Yay! We're not close to the end at all. So now that we've got ourselves the machine block, I'm pretty sure this is just a crafting ingredient in a few things. Yeah, it's in a lot of things, but incidentally, despite it being the machine block, it only appears to be used once in anything. So that's actually pretty good for me. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and get ourselves an LV cable and battery box. Because with this mod, it does use power, but it can't use FE. The only power source it can use is its own, which is called zaps. So that is gonna be fun. So that means we would need to generate a whole new power source. Except we don't, because with this next block right here called the FE transformer, we are going to be able to convert FE into zaps. So I just need to see what I need. I need some more inderium wire. That's not a problem. And then I need this advanced circuit. Okay, well that just takes a bunch of stuff that I have, which then takes this electronic circuit, which does take my last plate. That is awfully convenient, actually. I'm grateful for that. Need more glowstone. Alrighty, got the glowstone, so now we can go ahead and make ourselves the advanced circuit. With all that power combined, we now get ourselves our FE transformer. There we go. And that actually gets us a lot more fuses, so pretty much the most difficult part of making the block is out of the way now. Oh gosh, that would have been so much of a pain. So now that we have this thing, we can pretty much just hook it up to any of our sources of FE wherever we need it to go. So my options would be to stick it right here with all these things, or to just put it wherever I'm gonna be putting the machines and then stick a flux point into it. And I think I'm gonna go with that option, because that would just be simpler. So speaking of our machines, we are gonna need quite a few of those babies, because it's gonna be pretty heavy on making those. So each one of them does take another one of these machine blocks. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those parts off screen. And actually, it looks like a lot of these are just repeat parts. Yeah, okay, so I'll need an aluminum gear. I already have aluminum, so I can make that just pistons, another circuit, and then this guy. Oh, this guy has a unique part. It's tree tap. But it's just nuggets. Good. Okay. I guess we got that now. Alrighty. I guess I'll gather up the parts and let's make the machines.
5 minutes later.
Alrighty, I got everything. So now we can go ahead and make our first machine, which is the canning machine. Then we can make this roller. Then we can go ahead and make our centrifuge. And then we can go ahead and then make ourselves the compressor. Now, this last machine block will be used for the reactor itself. Well, maybe, unless there's anything else that's going to be used along the way. But for right now, we're just going to say that it's going to be used for this baby. So we got our basic 4 machines right here, each for their various purposes, which will be used in the full creation of this. For right now, the things that we're going to need to get the reactor next comes from the compressors line. And it's for a pretty good reason, because the compressor will make plates. So, compresses things. What can you do? Now, that's not to say that all this stuff up here isn't important for the reactor, but I think it would be better to wait until we actually have the reactor block itself for us to make that. And I also saw that the Lords of Inferno are about to attack me, so I'm gonna go off real quick. Alrighty, that whole thing's sorted out. So the next things that we're gonna need is gonna be some ingots. The one thing that we're gonna need is gonna be this advanced alloy, which is a mix of mixed metal blend, which can be of multiple varieties, but it seems like it's just gonna be iron, constant 10, which appears to be a constant, and aluminum dust or tin, and then the iron can be replaced with lead, and then the constant can also be electrum. Then after that, we would also need this thing right here called graphene, which is compressed coal balls, 8 compressed coal balls mixed with obsidian. And we get that from a coal ball inside of our compressor, which is... oh, there's the coal. Okay, so it's 8 coal mixed with flint. I was gonna say, I see fire charges like that is the most not that I have ever seen. And as for the carbon plate, that's just going to be this carbon fiber mesh compressed down. And the mesh is 4 carbon fibers, which is 4 coal dust, which is just crushed coal. So I'm gonna get those thingies real quick, and then we're gonna make these components.
Later.
Alrighty, so I got most of the stuff ready. I have the metal blend, I have the carbon fiber, and I have the coal balls. Now what we really need is we are going to need to start utilizing the machines. Specifically going to be the compressor, so we can go ahead and put that one right there for right now. But we can go ahead and set all of these things up to power while we're doing this. So, how this is going to work is we're going to need to use these babies called the LV connectors. No, LV cables. Then, those things will go into this LV battery box. There is a reason for this, which we will reveal in a moment. Then, I'm pretty sure we can just put it up to each other. We put the transporter, and then on this baby, we can go ahead and set up our flux network, which I also have set to NRG. So yeah, now that thing is converting into KFE, and then this is converting it into zaps, and then all of these ones should receive their power once they need it, if this works properly. Like, does it just go up to a certain point? Okay, it does. So according to the battery boxes thing itself, it should only be able to release 32 at a time and intake 32 at a time. And the reason we gotta do it like this is because if you have too much power going into these things, it will break. So we can't put too much power into these things until we have them upgraded, and I don't entirely know how the upgrade works. So we're stuck with this for a while. So for right now, we can head on over to the compressor and then put in these coal balls, and then these should just turn into the, where is it? Yeah, the compressed coal ball. Yeah, there we go, we got that. Okay, well, we can go ahead and take our compressed coal balls right now, just throw in the carbon mesh, and then I'm gonna go ahead and grab the other 4 coal balls, and then we'll be right back. Alrighty, we got those things melted down, so we got ourselves the carbon plates, and then we just need to input the coal balls. So I should be able to speed this up by 2 and have no problems. Okay, no problems there. We speed it up by 4. Still no problems. I see no problems whatsoever, and it's done. Beautiful. So then now, with those guys in tow, we can go ahead and then make ourselves the graphite. No, the graphene. Oh gosh, this is a huge process. So then we would throw that into there, and then these 3 guys right into here. And then that would all combine. Don't worry about the other steel grit right there, that's not a problem. So those will combine, and then it will create our advanced alloy, which gets ejected right out here into this chest. Now, advanced alloy is admittedly used in a lot of these later block processes, so this is gonna be a bit tedious when it comes to this. But now we know the process, so now I can make them on my own, and I collected some of my Certus quartz again on accident. Okay, yeah, so that thing, I set up a little automation for Certus quartz. That's neither here nor there, it's not important right now. So then, with these 2 things, these are important because they will allow us to make an advanced machine block. So, unfortunately, I will most likely need to make more machine block later, but for right now, this is fine. We're also going to need to go ahead and make this copper coil, which is just going to take some of these iron rods. So now we can go ahead and just make 4 of these, and then we can make ourselves our advanced machine block. There we go. And we do have enough for these things if I wanted to make another one, which I'm pretty sure I do have to make another one because with the reactor's recipe, we need these reactor chambers. And those things do take the advanced machine block, and that makes 3 of them. I don't know why it's like this, but it means I need 7, so I'm gonna need to do it a 3rd time where I would still have some left over. So I will have to make a few more of those before we can actually get this reactor done. So I'll do that part off screen, but now that we have that, you can see the arrows pointing over to it, which means we're ready for the reactor. Well, we're not ready for the reactor because another ingredient here is this iridium circuit, which is the next level of these circuits, but this one is going to take an advanced alloy. That's not it. The iridium alloy, and that takes some iridium. Now, iridium can be acquired in multiple ways, but really, outside of going to the overworld and mining it, which is a very rare ore, the only other way for us to get it is to use our ARC with some blazing blood and some dragon scales, which can only be found in the end or by dropping from the ender dragon. We can also get the straight ingots from the ARC if we have antimatter, but we don't have that yet. So let's see, how many dragon scales do I have? I have 9. So that could get me 1 ingot, and I need 4 for the iridium alloy. So I need to go out and get more of these dragon scales. Okay, it took me a little long while, but we finally managed to get all the dragon scales we should need for a while. So, what we now need to do is, I've also prepared the blazing blood. We just put these into here, but this won't work with this sanguine reverter. We need this thing right here called the crystal resonator, which was very simple to get. We just need a demon will crystal, a copper ingot, and tuff. Those are all pretty easy to get. So, now, with this, I should have more than enough blazing blood. We will get all of the iridium nuggets. And the best part is that with this method, we have a 25% chance of being able to get more. Now we got ourselves 56 iridium nuggets. Oh my freaking gosh. So now we actually have more. That's more than I was gonna look for. Oh, that's sick. Okay, so I almost have enough for being able to make another one of those. What's it called? Yeah, the iridium alloy. I don't need to at the moment, but that is still really good. Which means that with that, we have now unlocked the reactor quest itself. So, we just need to get the iridium circuit, which is just some more of the advanced alloy, 2 of those advanced circuits, and our iridium alloy, which is going to take 4 more advanced alloy and a diamond. And then we're also going to need another machine block and then some of these nuclear reactor chambers with some more blocks, which we will go over once I have all the components for it. Oh boy, we almost have it. This has been a long day.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Alrighty, I should have gathered up everything that we need. So now, we can go ahead and make ourselves our iridium alloy. And then with that, we get ourselves... Then we can go ahead and make ourselves our iridium circuit. Now that wasn't a quest, correct? Okay, good. That was not a quest. Okay. Oh yeah, and also, when I was out looking for the scales, I did find a better sort. So, that's in case anyone was wondering about that. So then, now that we have that, the next thing that we really need is to just make ourselves... Actually, wait, no, I already made those, so I can go ahead and take the advanced one off the brick. The next thing that we really need to make is just going to be the reactor casing. So, for us to make that, we're going to need to go ahead and then make about, 12 of these should be good. I need to go ahead and throw those guys back into there. And then, there we go. That should be all of it for that. Then, it should just be to take these copper plates and not grab these Certus quartz seeds. And then throw the plates right into here. And then, if we speed this baby up just by a little bit, we then get ourselves dense copper plates. It takes 8 copper plates to make, so you know it's gonna take quite a lot of this stuff, and I am still impatient. I need faster. Yeah, there we go. That might not actually be enough, but you know what? That's oh, that is not enough actually. There we go. Now we have ourselves all the nuclear reactor chambers. Then after that, yeah, now we have everything for the nuclear reactor itself. There we go. And that gives us 2 new iridium circuits, so that will actually help us a lot when we need to go ahead and make ourselves this antimatter constructor, which is just going to take 2 more of those advanced machine blocks. But I don't think I have those right now. Oh, and I'm gonna need another nether star. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to do that part today. That is gonna be its own other thing. I keep forgetting that part, man. That's the one thing that's annoying about that setup, is if I walk too close to it, it does that. But with that, pretty much all I really need to do is, like, I'm pretty sure that this should just be just fine, because this does just make zaps when it's used. So it's like, I don't think I can put this in like flux points or anything like that. And I don't think there's a way to convert it back into zaps. So that's what has me a bit concerned about it. But at the end of the day, I only really need the reactors to get this antimatter from these things. So, you know, it's fine either way, because these things are going to take a ridiculous amount of power, man. So, that's going to be fine. Just for safety, I will have this some ways away. Probably about here should do it just fine. Yeah. So, then inside of here, this is where we would put all of the different stuff for the different fuels for the reactor. Now, for what's gonna come next is all going to depend on these things here called the fluid cells. Because if these things work in the way I think they work, that's gonna take a lot more time to figure out in a day than I have, and I could probably just figure out how to power that thing another time. But if it doesn't, then I should be able to squeeze this in right here. So, what I'm gonna need first is some tin. Then we're just going to go ahead and crush one of these babies. There we go. So now we get to go ahead and actually make use of our roller. So by putting a plate in here, specifically the tin plate that we can go ahead and have in here, and then speed this baby up a bit, now we get ourselves the fluid cell. So here's where this thing gets a bit interesting, because if we want to fill this thing up, it seems as though we have to actually utilize the tinkers. So, yeah, and it says I can put that in there. So if I were to right click this on a water block, okay, that does fill it, but I can't really think of how I would automate that. Because for like the next few things when it comes to this, like let's look at the uranium. Yeah, that takes 100% full. Oh, and it also takes the uranium. And then you have the coolant, which just takes more of that. Okay, that is actually gonna be a bit of a bigger process than I bargained for. So it looks like this reactor is gonna take a bit more for us to set up. There is a lot more stuff into this, and plus, this is my first time with this mod, so, you know, cut me a little slack here. So, I guess what we're gonna do then is, we're gonna need to make some more preparations before we can do this, and then once we do it, I'll probably also stick that in at the same point for when we're making the antimatter. But we're also gonna need to grab another nether star, and it might be ideal to have multiples of these, but I really won't be able to do that until I'm able to get more iridium, which really I won't be able to get until I have more of the antimatter. And I'm also going to need to automate more life essence. Yeah, I think I may have done this slightly early. A little bit early. Oh well, this is part of the learning process. You know, we're all learning things here. At least I am. Some of you might already know this, and you're all just like yelling at me like, "What are you doing, you fool?" And it's like, I'm sorry. I really am. But hey, you know, at least we got a reactor, even if it doesn't work. So, you know, that's a win in my book. So did you like this video? Good. Then be sure to check out our last video where we set up this AE2 system so that way we could start auto crafting. Bye-bye!